Good afternoon, everybody. Well, it's getting on for evening, actually. I've been slogging my guts out all day on Grosso Mogul. I was hoping I was just going to be able to tart up the edition that we used for our recording when we made it all 2013, 12, something like that. But although I could find the PDFs, couldn't find the Sibelius file, so I've had to do another one. But it's been time well spent. It is a brilliant piece. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Grosso Mogul is just a fantastic piece of music. It's also interesting that there are three sources. There's an autograph score in Turin, and there's a copy in Germany, and then there's a copy in Cividale del Friuli in Italy. And there are certain differences between the two. For instance, the parts in Italy, in Friuli, are made for Signor Pontotti. We know that because in at the beginning of the cadenza of one of the cadenzas in that source, it says cadenza del Vivaldi per Signor Pontotti. Pontotti was a nobleman who possessed various Vivaldi manuscripts, and there are interesting differences. For instance, this solo here. That solo is in triplets in the autograph, in Vivaldi's handwriting. It's in triplets. In both the other two sources, there's a different figuration. And I'm sorry for the sort of poor taste in musical example, but this is the figuration that we used from our record when we recorded it a few years ago. It's a completely different effect. So there you go. There's one of the differences. It's just worth having a look also at the score, the autograph score, because it is incredibly beautifully presented. This is, I mean, just there's another. Okay, that's a later manuscript, but that is a completely different piece. But just to sort of, if you compare and contrast the style of handwriting now, obviously he was in a bit of a rush. Compare it with that. That is so beautifully written. So neat. It kind of reminds me actually of this score to Ottone and Villa is similarly beautifully presented. Very, very, very neat handwriting from the 1710s there. But even though this has the sort of hallmarks of a neat copy by Vivaldi, you still find, for instance, you can see bars hatched out there. And I have to say, this, we were talking yesterday about Vivaldi, how he prunes passages. The pruning of these bars here is absolutely crucial to make this solo work. If he hadn't have pruned those, it would have felt a bit saggy. But because he's done that, he's really tightened it up beautifully. And then there's so whiz through the manuscript again. There's a tiny little solo in the middle of a ritornello passage here, which he's taken out, and he's had to change the beginning of that bar to make it work. And then there was a very this is very interesting. Vivaldi decided that he wanted a different solo here. this solo no longer exists. This solo, that's as far as this solo goes. And what he did is he glued this page to the following leaf. So if you look at the chord here, like that, if you go to the following leaf, that's exactly the same chord, although he's made it an E major chord. And also this tonality in this bar here, in this version, is an A minor tonality, whereas in this on this version, it's an A major tonality. So, I mean, again, I mean, so many times we see Vivaldi really paying such careful attention to tiny little details in order to get... I mean, it's like if a comedian doesn't time his gags right, his gags fall flat on the floor. Vivaldi's got to make sure that the rhetoric of his music really, really, really works. I have to say, one of the jewels in Vivaldi's crown has to be the grave, which is very, very unusual. He writes recitativo here. He's composed the whole of the slow movement, as it were, as a recitative for violin. This is pretty unusual. You get it there's the big concerto with horns, RB 562. You get a similar slow movement there, and also the Feast of the Tongue of the Holy Tongue of St. Anthony of Padua. You get a similar slow movement there, but it's pretty rare. Locatelli used a similar technique in the concerto Il Pianto d'Arianna, very, very effectively. Maybe Locatelli was influenced by Vivaldi, don't know. One of the things that has struck me, because we've looked at a couple of early concerti by Vivaldi, sort of big stuff. But there were a couple that he wrote for Pisendel. I'm not thinking about the C major one that we looked at earlier this week. But for instance, 205 that we did a week or two ago, also in D major, that had the feeling of as though he was trying to write something on this scale, but he just didn't quite get there. But I do wonder, the number of little bits that he's tinkered with, whether the reason that 205 doesn't work quite as well is because he wrote it for Pisendel. Pisendel was there on the spot. He gave Pisendel the manuscript. Whereas Vivaldi, I get the impression, certainly if you look at the other sources as well, that Vivaldi's actually been really, really tinkering with this piece again and again and again until he's sort of come up with the perfect Grosso Mogul. Anyway, before my daughter interrupts the video, I think we'll leave it there and see you tomorrow. Cheers, bye.